This is the 2025 CVO Road Glide. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about all of the modifications and the additions that I made to it and how this could possibly be the #1 motorcycle in my stable. All right, intro.
Keep it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded, keep it loaded. Very nice, looking at the camera. Very nice, good, good, good.
Preloaders, V.I.Preloaders, welcome back to the channel, guys. For those of you that have never been here before, welcome to you as well. My name's Robert. The name of this wonderful channel is Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle. This video should have been done a long time ago. I've had this motorcycle for a few months now, and I've had the parts for it to add to it for a few months, but I've been so busy and it just takes time. So first of all, a huge shout out to my nephew, Oliver, because he's the one that pretty much did all of the upgrades on this motorcycle, and I'm going to talk about that. But let me get from in front of the motorcycle, guys, because I wasn't kidding when I said this could very well be my #1 in my stable. Right now it's violet, but anyway, I don't want to get into too much of that. What I will say about this motorcycle is I really like this motorcycle. I love the way it looks. Every addition that I added to it was in my vision to do, and I'm going to talk to you guys about it. So let's get into it. I put everything in my phone because I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget anything that I did. And everything is still not done, but I'm going to talk about that. Okay, first and foremost, now this is not the first thing I put on the motorcycle, but it's the first thing I'm going to talk to you about. And it's the Tab Performance Slip-Ons. 50 caliber with the zombie baffle. Perfectly color matched. And oh my God, they look great. They sound great. This is what I always say about Tab Performance exhaust. I have Tab Performance exhaust on all of my motorcycles. And of course, Sterling wouldn't be any different. I'm always going to recommend Tab Performance. I love this exhaust. I love the way it looks. I love the way it sounds. I mean, it is just perfectly matched, as it is on my 2024 CVO Road Glide ST Shelly. Perfectly matched. I'm going to have links for everything that I put on this motorcycle and that I talk about in this video in the description section. Item 2 I'm going to talk about are the Folsom Prison handlebars. These are also from Tab Performance. Now, the good thing about the Road Glides for 2023, 24, and 25, 2023 and a half, is the redesign that they did to the handlebars. They did a phenomenal job. You really don't have to change them, and they're very easy to adjust. You can either move them up or down, but they're a good height, and that's been an issue in the past with the wheelbarrow ones. The Batwing fairings is a totally different thing. They didn't change those. They're still too low, but I changed them because I wanted a better look, right? Because they're still very thin. So the Folsom Prison handlebars from Tab Performance, these are 12-inch bars. They're 1.5 inches thick. And I just love the way they look. I love them. So it complements everything else on the motorcycle very well. They're comfortable. I can still do my slow speed maneuvers. I pull them back a little bit and then I pull them back a little bit more. So very nice. I love them. Huge shout out to Tab Performance. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk to you guys about that I added to this bike is the wheels. I changed the wheels. Now, what I wanted to do with this motorcycle is I wanted to kind of do some stuff different than what I normally do. And I had the 23.5 CVO Road Glide, and it came with those spoked wheels, and they're fine. But again, my time's very limited, and I don't want to have to spend extra time cleaning the wheels. And clearly, if you have spokes, it's going to take you longer to clean. So I wanted something more simplistic, but I wanted a different look too. I wanted something that was all black. So I got these wheels from Harley-Davidson. They came black and machined, but I had them powder coated so they can be all black. I love the way they look. I think it complements the motorcycle well as far as the colors of the motorcycle with the gray and the black and the orange. I just think it looks great. And to complement that, I also have Rotors from Harley-Davidson and had those added on because I wanted it to look a little different. And what really changed my eye with that is the fact that my CVO Road Glide ST came with the upgraded, fancier looking Rotors. And I think that just makes it complements the front of your motorcycle a lot if you can do it. There's all kind of different styles, but I chose these and I like the way they look. All right, next, lower fairings. So the lower fairings and the engine guards, those kind of go together because you have to change the engine guard to add these lower fairings. And the funny thing is, at first I was concerned about losing that little fang or whatever they call it that goes on the front of the motorcycle, the side of it. But you have to take that off in order to put the lowers on. But as you can clearly see, it's not an issue at all because it covers that whole area. And me, I love the way lower fairings look on a motorcycle. I just think it gives the motorcycle more character. It looks bolder to me. And on top of that, it gives you some functionality. There's extra storage inside of them. Obviously, it's going to protect you from things like rain and wind. But to me, I think that a touring motorcycle, looks naked without it. So if I can have lowers, again, my first touring Harley-Davidson motorcycle was my 2019 CVO Street Glide. And in 2019, CVOs came with lowers, with speakers in them. But after 2019, that didn't happen anymore. So you had to get a limited motorcycle to get them. And as soon as I saw that these were going to be available, boom, I got them and I love the way they look. And what I also added to these lower fairings, and I feel like you have to add it, are the lights also from Harley-Davidson that are designed and built to go inside of the lowers. Love the way they look. It's very contemporary looking. And that's what I like about the fairings, period. I think that they look very sleek and modern and they're not boxy. And I appreciate that about this motorcycle, the redesign of the motorcycle, period. And they complement it well. So I think they did a phenomenal job with these lower fairings. And I knew fog lights were coming because when I had my 23.5 CVO, in the infotainment system, it said fog lights, but it was grayed out. So it took a couple of years, but here it is. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk to you about, it might be like the sixth thing I'm talking to you about, but it was actually the first thing I put on this motorcycle. As a matter of fact, I did like a poll on YouTube asking people to give me in order to guess what do they think I'm going to do first as far as adding stuff to this motorcycle. And I think first prize it was $100 and second prize was $75, whatever it was. A bunch of people said tab performance first, tab performance first. And I understand why that was their first guess. But for me, anytime I get one of these, the first thing I'm putting on it, saddlebag guards. Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna buy a CVO that has a special paint job, the last thing you wanna do is scratch them. And without saddlebag guards, depending on the drop, the engine guards might prevent it, but it all depends on how much this bike drops or how it drops. You wanna have that extra protection. Saddlebag guards all day. I'm always going to do that first if I can. And so again, these are also from Harley-Davidson. The next thing I changed is the air breather, again from Harley-Davidson. This one definitely complements the motorcycle more. It looks a lot better in my opinion, and it's going to breathe better too. And so because I added that air breather, I also had to do I had to tune it, so to speak. So I used the Harley-Davidson tuner. I let the dealership do it. I'm hearing that you could do it at your house. I don't have time for that, so I just let them take care of that. So everything's working great. The bike's breathing well. The throttle sounds good, and that's all I care about, really. I just want everything to look good and sound good and feel good. Next, I added an oil level dipstick. It's a digital one, again, from Harley-Davidson. And again, it's just going to make it easier for me to be able to, at a glance, see what's going on in that oil reservoir, how much oil I have, what the temperature is, and stuff like that. Self-explanatory. So I've seen this before, and I remember saying to myself, you know what, I think I would want to get that. And I never got around to it. But again, like I said, with this motorcycle, I wanted to start doing some stuff that I've never done before, and that includes this oil dipstick. Okay, this next thing I want to talk to you guys about is this tour pack. So my first thought was I'm going to get a King tour pack on this motorcycle, and so that I can ride on this motorcycle with Anita and she'll be comfortable, and then I can add some speakers back there, and all of that stuff. But my issue is, with the redesign of the Harley-Davidson Street Glide and the Road Glide, they gave us new lowers, and there was rumors that a new tour pack was coming. I even saw renderings of it and drawings of it and patents on it. I was very excited about that, but to this day, it still hasn't happened. And in my opinion, the tour pack that's on the bike now, this is for the old style Harley-Davidson. And the King tour pack, same thing. But at least with the Chop tour pack, it doesn't look as boxy. Right? And so if I step back and look at this motorcycle, it kind of looks like it belongs on this motorcycle. Now, of course, the saddlebags on this motorcycle now are bowed slightly, right? And so in my opinion, the tour pack should also be bowed a little bit so it can kind of all line up together. I can get away with it more, in my opinion, with the chop tour pack than I can with the King, because the King is just a big box sitting on top of a contoured motorcycle. Okay, so that's why I went with the chop tour pack, again, from Harley-Davidson, of course. I don't want to knock off. I love the fact that it says Harley-Davidson CVO on it, and everything is color matched perfectly. And it's enough that I need. If I need something where I need my King tour pack, I'll ride Violet, my CVO Limited. Next, and this should go without saying, custom dynamics lights. So I'm not finished yet with the custom dynamics lights, only because there was a lot of things that were sold out. But I added what I think is very important. A, the latch lights that go on the side of your saddlebags, because as I always say, you don't have any lighting on the sides of your motorcycle, just reflectors. So those are important, and the fact that they're functional, they're run, brake, turn, that's huge. So I got that. This time I chose amber to be on the sides for the signal lights. Obviously not for the running lights and the brake lights, but for the signal lights, amber on the side. And then for the back, I have the sequential thin bag lights. And now that I think about it, I should have got that amber too, because with the new motorcycles, the turn signal is independent of the brake light and the run light, and it is amber. So I should have got it amber, but I got it red. It is what it is. But I have more that I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on getting the magic strobe. Of course, they didn't have that, but I'm always going to get the magic strobe from Custom Dynamics. And I'm also planning on adding the fork lights so that I have lights on the side, on the back of the motorcycle and the front, just like all of my other girls. Well, except for Raven and Shelly, but all of the other motorcycles, yeah, lights on the front and the back on the sides. So shout out to Custom Dynamics again. I think it's I know for a fact that many would agree, Custom Dynamics is the best in the game when it comes to adding lights to your motorcycle. Okay, next, motorcycle drop guards. If you don't know what motorcycle drop guards are, those are the things that you see on top of my engine guard and my saddlebag guard and under my primary. And that's gonna extra protect this motorcycle. The guards protect the motorcycle by themselves, but motorcycle drop guards protect the guards. Plus it gives it a little bit more clearance on the ground as far as scraping stuff. So I have this on all of my motorcycles. So huge shout out to Jay at Motorcycle Drop Guards. And if this is something you want to add to your motorcycle, guys, go to motorcycledropguards.com. And it definitely helps people. It gives them a little bit more assurance to go out and practice and not worry about dropping their motorcycles. Like I said, the guards are still going to protect the bike. My Street Glide, before I had motorcycle drop guards, I dropped that bike a ton. The only thing that was scratched on it was the underside of the engine guard and the saddlebag guard. But what wasn't protected is my primary, the bottom of it. That was scraped up. And so, in my opinion, it's a definitely good thing to have. They kind of blend right in, and that's the good thing about it. It's not something that looks tacky. And at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. It doesn't make sense to buy a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 motorcycle and then skimp on the things that you want to add to it, in my opinion. Next, and if you know me, this should go without saying, a Saddlemen seat. Now, this is a road sofa seat. It also has the pillion backrest, and it has a backrest on it as well. I love Saddlemen seats. I have Saddlemen seats on every motorcycle I have and every motorcycle I've had. And anytime I get a new motorcycle, it's my first go-to. I love the stitch work. I love the carbon fiber look of it. And I love the fact that it's a comfortable seat. Now, you're gonna have to break it in, of course. And some may say that this seat is too hard for them. But it's fine for me. And I think many would agree. You look at a lot of people's motorcycles and 9 times out of 10, you're gonna see that S. That's Saddlemen. Saddlemen.com. Go check them out, guys. See if there's anything that would appeal to you. You can customize it, do all kind of different things with the stitching, and that's just outstanding. The windshield. Now, the windshield that came on the 2024 CVO Road Glide ST is ridiculously low. Like, it's clearly just for looks. It's not going to do anything for you. The windshield on this bike was a little bit higher, but still not high enough. So I changed that. I put a 10-inch windshield on here. Much better. It looks good. It's functional. Everything that I need, that's what it is. I don't want it too high. Obviously, I don't want it too low. This is the perfect fit. And with that flare, pushes the air right over my head. All right, next, highway pegs. Now, guys, it's so funny how things work, because I've always got highway pegs that attach to the engine guard of the motorcycle. And usually I got them from Harley-Davidson because I wanted it all to match. The Kahuna collection with the CVOs, that's what I always had. But when I bought that 2024 CVO Road Glide ST, it doesn't have that same kind of engine guard. And so those weren't an option, and I had to find an alternative. And that's the only reason why I added those frame-mounted highway pegs. And as of now, guys, that's all I want. I love them. They are so much more comfortable for me as far as the positioning. And I don't want to feel like I'm riding down the highway and I'm getting a pap smear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see people riding down the highway and their legs are this far up in the air. Now, what that also does is the further your feet are up, the less butt cheek that you actually have on this seat. It starts to run into the upper part where you have less meat. So to me, that's not comfortable. And because I have hip problems, I also don't want to have my legs all the way up. These are perfect. They're kind of right in line with the footboard, so I can kind of put my heel on the footboard and just kind of put my foot sideways to rest on the highway peg, or put my whole foot on it. It's just very comfortable. Now, the trade-off is it's going to make contact with the ground easier when I lean this motorcycle. Again, that's a first world problem. Most people aren't leaning the bike like I'm leaning at slow speeds. But it doesn't matter, because even the ones that I had on the engine guards, those scrape too when I have them out. It just is what it is. If the bike's leaned over, that part's gonna hit. I don't care about that. It's the underside of it. You're not gonna see it. And even if you do, I don't care. It's all about the comfort. And when I'm sitting on the motorcycle, what I see looks perfectly intact, right? All right, guys, and the last thing I'm gonna talk to you about is not on the motorcycle yet, and that is Wilbers suspension. And so listen, guys, that's why Violet is still my favorite. At least that's one of the reasons why she's still my #1 girl in that stable. Along with all of the other stuff that comes along with that bike, all of the lights and the new stereo system and all that stuff, that suspension is butter smooth and self-adjusting, right? That's Wilbers suspension, the NIVOMAT Wilbers suspension. And it's in the garage, it's in a box. And I was gonna take it to the dealership to get it put on. But right now I'm thinking about waiting until Stefan can make it here from Germany to do the install. Stefan has installed the Wilbers suspension on all of my motorcycles. Again, Raven is the only motorcycle that doesn't have Wilbers suspension, and Raven's not going to get Wilbers suspension, I'm pretty sure. But every other motorcycle I have or I've owned, Stefan has come here and installed them. It's a phenomenal suspension. If you don't know anything about Wilbers suspension, you definitely want to go to their website and check it out. And listen, NIVOMAT, that's the important thing that you need to know, because I have Wilbers suspension on our Shelly here, but it's a different Wilbers suspension with the canisters. It's more sports tuned, so it's stiffer. But if you want a nice, comfortable ride that is self-adjusting, Wilbers suspension, guys. So shout out to Stefan's Garage. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. Awesome guy. He's a pilot. He's a captain. And he tinkers around a lot with motorcycles. He's a smart guy, and I trust him with my motorcycle. So again, I'll wait for him unless he tells me I can't come. Then I'll get somebody else to put him on, because it's going to make a huge impact on how this motorcycle feels. Yes, the new suspension on the new models is better than the old, but clearly there's going to be stuff better. It just is what it is. Harley-Davidson is not a suspension company. So I can't wait to get the Wilbers suspension on here. And then that's going to really, really transform the way this motorcycle feels. But right now, everything that I've done to this motorcycle, I love it, guys. I love it. Guys, put in the comment section what you think, what you would have added. I'm very happy with all the choices that I made. I'm sure I'm not done, but with the major stuff, I'm done. I'm not doing anything to the engine. It's not necessary. I got my lowers, changed the wheels, the tour pack. I don't want a King. The only thing I would change is when and if they come out with the redesigned tour pack for this style of motorcycle. And then that's going to make me very happy. I'll definitely get that. And in my opinion, guys, for 2025, this is the best looking CVO that they made. I mean, it's just beautiful. I love these colors. Now, yeah, it's my favorite colors. I love the badging. I love all of that. If I wanted a chrome bike, then that blue, I don't know what, I think it's called Blue Streak. I don't know what the color's called, but it's blue and it's chrome everywhere. It's like different colors on it. It's a funky looking style, and I'm not usually into that, but if I was gonna get a chrome Road Glide CVO for 2025, it would be that one. It looks great. But anyway, another huge shout out to my nephew Oliver, who did the handlebars, the tour pack, the saddlebag guards, the motorcycle drop guards, the highway pegs. He did everything, the lowers, the lights for the lowers. He did everything except the wheels. Everything except the wheels. And again, he's a mechanic, but not with motorcycles, and definitely not with a Harley or anything like that. But he's mechanically inclined enough to be able to read instructions, watch some videos, and make it happen. And here's a funny story, guys, before I let you go. I would come into the garage and see him just sitting there, staring at this motorcycle. He never had an interest. I mean, he's been to my house plenty of times, walked past all of my motorcycles, just go inside. But now that he got to touch this motorcycle and put his hands into it, it kind of grabbed him. He formed a relationship with it. He made a connection, and he loved this bike. And so now he wants a Harley. I say it all the time. I cost people money, but it's always for good things. Training, motorcycles, parts for your motorcycles. All right, guys, that's going to do it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, guys, please do so. Remember, I'm putting a link for all of these items that I added to this motorcycle in the description section. Go to those respective websites, check it out. I highly recommend everything that I put on this motorcycle for your motorcycle. All right, guys, spend more time being thankful for the things that you have and less time complaining about the things that you don't. Seat time doesn't equal practice time, and if you have time to ride your motorcycles, you have time to practice on them. That's not my opinion. Until next time.